G'day everybody, and thank you for tuning back into Albatross Barbecue. So today we've got ourselves an Angus brisket flat. Let's get going.
The butcher's done a great job on this piece of meat already. It's going to be a pretty easy cut for me today. It's not a fantastic looking flat, but it is the lean piece, which means there's not a huge amount of intermuscular fat there for me to play with. However, the fat cap is already roughly 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to chop a little bit away. On the bottom, this is where I'm not going to go crazy, but I do want to get my rub onto the bottom. And then with the top, I'm just going to shape it. I'm going to cut away at some of the hard fat, get rid of some of the stringy stuff, and leave it as it is. And then what I'll do is I'll score the fat. That's mainly so I can just try and get a little bit of flavor from my rub, touching that meat if I can. Otherwise, job done, nice and simple. I'm using yellow mustard for my binder today. Just cover both sides. So the all-important rub, what have I got? 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, I've got 1 tablespoon of paprika, and then I had 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, as well as 1 tablespoon of thyme. Apply that rub all over your flat there. On the bottom, that's where I'm going to go a little bit heavier because that's where I'm going to be getting my flavour as well as the sides. As most of you know, briskets can take a reasonable amount of rub. However, be careful you don't go over the top with your rub because you still want to taste the flavour of that beef. Whilst this brisket is resting, time to get the smoker up to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. I am using my pellet smoker today. Some of you hate pellet smokers, some of you love them, but for me, I'm going to be out the house for around 3 or 4 hours, so I need to use my pellet smoker, and I'm going fat side down. Almost 2 hours into the smoke, and we're going in for our first look. From what I can see, I'm starting to take that lovely mahogany colour from the smoke, and my rub, that's starting to stick nicely to the meat. All I'm going to be doing every hour and a half is using my mop, which just simply has some beef stock, keeping it nice and moist. I'm now 6 hours into the smoke, and that bark is starting to form nicely. I'm in the stall, I'm hitting 155 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to turn it over for another hour, fat cap up, a little bit more beef stock, and then I'll be ready to wrap. In my other videos, I have used butcher's paper and I've used foil before. Today, I want to use butcher's paper. I do think it does give you a little bit of a better result if you've got a little bit more time. So all I'm going to be doing is putting a little bit more beef stock into the wrap, and then very gently, I will fold both sides over, flip the brisket over, and tuck it in nicely so when I put it back into the smoker, it's reasonably tight and just sitting there, smoking away. Now when I put the brisket back into the smoker, I'm going to increase my cooking temperature to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not going to get any more smoke flavour, I just want to push the temperature up just a little bit to help this thing get up to temperature, which is around 205 degrees Fahrenheit internal. I'm going to put my thermometer in the thickest part of that flat so I can keep my eyes on it. So it's telling me now I've hit 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Time to go in and have a look. I don't always trust this thermometer. My Inkbird is a lot more accurate, and as you can see, it was close to 200, but in the thinner part of the flat, it was well over 205. The top was not too bad, wasn't a temp, but it was probing reasonably well. Another 10 minutes is what I gave it, and then I pulled it off because I did not want the bottom of that flat to crumble away. So, pull it out, wrap it in a towel, put it in an esky and leave it for around an hour and a half to 2 hours. After close to a 2-hour rest, it was time to bring her out. Initial thoughts were pretty positive. Opening her up, I could see the fat had rendered. I had some nice juices there. I decided to slice it where it was. First couple of cuts felt really good. Sliced through easily. I was getting some nice juices flowing down the flat. I was happy with what I could see so far. The thing with your brisket flat, if you're cooking that without the point, is you got to make sure that you got to have a reasonable amount of fat on your fat cap. I had a great bend test there. It was looking great.
All right, so here's our brisket flat. Looks absolutely fantastic. You do the bend test. Oops. Folds over absolutely beautiful without breaking away. However, most important thing is how it tastes. So let's give this a go and dig in. Super tender, breaks easy, great flavour. I'm super happy with this brisket. This is outstanding. Brilliant, love it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate your time. We'll see you again in the next one. Catch you later.
If you watch my videos, then you'll see, usually have my little friend in the background there, Alfie. He loves his brisket. And this one, he ate very, very quickly. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again in the future.